Hello, and welcome to our Fair Chance Conversation series. I'm Matt Joyce.
And I'm Alex Love.
So, for most of our series, we've focused on strategies that individual employers can pursue to expand opportunity and talent pipelines. But today, we're going to go up a level. We're going to talk about how industry leaders can encourage fair chance practices across whole networks of employers. And to do that, we're joined by Cassi Zumbiel, who's leading the Second Chance initiative at the Manufacturing Institute. Cassi, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Cassie, to get us started, tell us about the Manufacturing Institute and why you have recently highlighted fair chance hiring.
Sure. So the Manufacturing Institute is the workforce and education partner to the National Association of Manufacturers. Our organization focuses on workforce challenges that manufacturers are facing across a whole host of areas, and specifically on closing the skills gap in manufacturing. Right now, there's over 900,000 open jobs in manufacturing, and that's with the current crisis that our country is facing with the pandemic. So there's a lot of open roles that manufacturers need to fill. And with that, we realize that they can't leave out a whole host of the population. I can't speak simply because of a prior conviction. And so we, back in April, launched our Second Chance Hiring Initiative, which we're really excited about because we've seen such a great interest from manufacturers across the country because they know that they can't leave out 1 in 4 people from the jobs they have available, especially given the fact that there's 900,000 open jobs available today, and it's not a challenge that's going to be going away. We know that in the next 10 years, we expect about 1.2 million jobs to go unfilled just because we don't have the right people going into manufacturing. So a lot of opportunity to go into manufacturing right now.
It's exciting and something we've heard from a lot of employers that just the talent crunch is causing everybody to be more creative and more thoughtful about how to think about candidate pipelines, how to make jobs more accessible. You're in the exciting position, I think, of just hearing feedback from hundreds and hundreds of employers about their needs, their interests, their challenges around talent acquisition. And I'd love to hear more about just what you're hearing is driving manufacturers to explore fair chance hiring and sort of what they're asking for from MI and from their industry association to help support them along the way.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to hear manufacturers' feedback in this space. I think a lot of manufacturers kind of felt like this is something maybe that they were doing, but not very intentionally. Maybe they had made some changes in their background check process, or maybe they tried to open up positions to more individuals, or they knew that they had hired a couple people with prior convictions, but just really hadn't been really intentional about it. So we've heard from a lot of manufacturers that now they're realizing, especially with the amount of jobs that are open right now, that this is a population that they really haven't intentionally recruited from and hired, as well as retained. That has been another area that we've heard a lot of feedback from is, yeah, I think we've hired a few folks, but we haven't been able to retain them in our roles. And so we've really been serving the role of providing resources to manufacturers on not only how to recruit this population, especially working with community-based organizations, but also how to retain them and the internal processes that are necessary to make sure that you're supporting folks once they are hired and retaining them so that they can grow within your organization.
Yeah, thanks, Cassie. And thanks for bringing up retention. Love to talk about that and how important it is to all of these processes. Where are you seeing creative and innovative approaches in the industry? Are there any examples you can highlight?
Sure. We've gotten to see a lot of creative solutions, specifically in second chance hiring since we got to start this work back in April. A couple examples I wanted to highlight. One is actually in Ohio. Magnet, which is the MEP or the Manufacturing Extension Partnership in Ohio, specifically in the Cleveland region, has been working with multiple manufacturers on what they began as a pilot, where they are helping manufacturers specifically work with this population by doing a 6-week training. And in that training, they help folks with employer readiness skills as well as learning manufacturing skills. And then those individuals are actually hired on with manufacturers. And the really cool thing with that is a lot of the manufacturers are actually engaged in the training and come in and meet these folks as they're going through the 6-week certification program. So that's a great example in the Cleveland area, as well as in San Antonio. We're engaged in a pilot there. Toyota Tetsu Texas has been hiring from the second chance population since 2018 and have really led a pilot in that area with now 5 manufacturers and lots of community partners. So another great example there that we're really excited to be a part of.
Great. I think the training piece that you mentioned is in some ways like the third leg of the stool that we still have to figure out in this field. That what we're seeing is, there's a huge candidate pool. There's a lot of opportunity at the very entry level for folks who are returning from incarceration or have backgrounds, perhaps opportunities to grow in those careers within companies. But I think for those middle skill jobs and those higher skill jobs, there's a lack right now of connectivity between workforce readiness and reentry training and employers who are looking to bring on people who have some level of certification, some level of credential in the field. So it'll be exciting, I think, to see just how that opportunity grows within manufacturing, because I think that field is almost perfect for some level of upfront training that's connected into the fair chance space. So pivoting a little bit, I think one of the challenges, Cassi, that I know we've just discussed about manufacturing is just kind of the perception of what the work is. And in trying to get folks excited about manufacturing as a career and understand the opportunities, kind of parsing between perception and reality of the workplace. Can you share a little bit about that and kind of how you make the case for manufacturing to candidates?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that question because that's something we face the challenge of across a lot of different populations, whether it's getting more women engaged or youth. Definitely the perception of manufacturing is something that is a really big focus for the Manufacturing Institute. So often we hear that a lot of people view manufacturing as kind of manufacturing of the past, whether it's dirty or dark or dangerous. That's really a lot of people's views because manufacturing is unique compared to other careers where a lot of people can't see it. It's usually in a building with no windows and it's hard to see into or really get a perspective of if you haven't had the fortunate experience to go tour or work in a manufacturing facility. Manufacturing is very high tech. We use the slogan "Creators Wanted" because you really do have to be a really creative, thoughtful, strategic thinker to work in manufacturing, and there's great careers. Manufacturers usually are offering benefits and a great salary and have a lot of career pathways where you might start entry level, but there's a lot of opportunities to move up in manufacturing too. So those are definitely some of the realities of manufacturing that we want to make sure that people are aware of because there really is great careers and opportunities in a lot of communities across the US in the manufacturing sector.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Cassi. I think it's definitely something that people need to have a little bit more awareness around so that they can really understand what great opportunities there are in the manufacturing space. Given all that you're leading and all the conversations that you're having with employers, what advice would you give interested employers, in building proactive and best-in-class fair chance initiatives?
Well, beyond working with the Level Set team, which is always one of my first recommendations, I would also suggest we have some great resources on our website, the manufacturinginstitute.org website, that can kind of get you started. A lot of times, case making and helping, whether it's your organization and you're at a leadership position or you're in an HR role, making the internal case of why this is important work and something you should be engaged in is often the first place to start. And we have some great resources on our website that can help you with those conversations. Also, I would suggest looking in your community and seeing the resources that are available there. There's a lot of great organizations who are doing this work locally who would love to support you as you go down this path. And so definitely encourage you to take a look, whether it's at your local workforce board or just doing a quick search for community-based organizations engaged in fair chance and second chance hiring. And I am sure you'll find some great resources locally that will also support you along with the Manufacturing Institute.
Cassi, thank you so much for giving all of this overview and like a peek inside of the manufacturing space. It's been really interesting to understand more. And I so appreciate kind of you bringing up retention and some of these, pilot programs that are happening that sound really exciting. I think it's just been so wonderful to learn more about this space and really how the Manufacturing Institute has been able to help other manufacturers with resources and things like that. So thank you so much for spending this time with us and having this conversation. And to everyone watching, thank you. And until next time.
Thanks, Cassie.
Thank you.